Hey guys, welcome back to Overtakes. This is Kel.
And this is Misfit.
And we are here with our power rankings for the first week of Stage 3. Holy crap, this season is going so fast.
Yeah, it's almost going too fast. The break was nice.
Yeah.
But I'm ready. I'm ready to dive back in. It's just weird. It's like, oh my god, it's halfway over. And like we were saying on Sunday, we got 14 matches left for every team.
Yeah.
And we're going to start talking, not maybe as much today, but we're going to start talking map differentials and who's in, who's out, because it's going to matter, because there's only, like I said, 14 games.
Yeah, that's what happens when you cut, 12 games out of the season?
Yeah, you're talking playoffs now.
Add 8 teams?
Yeah.
Like, the map differentials, like, all that stuff really becomes important now, and now is the time when it's really going to come down to crunch time. Yeah,
especially with the way, everybody's kind of bunched up in the middle there.
Yeah.
At 7-7, 6-8, and, everywhere in that range.
Right. So we're going to start off with our, this is our power rankings, so we're going to jump right into it and just start off with our top 4. It's going to be some big surprises here, guys.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone's going to be super shocked about what's here.
Yeah, that was that was terrible.
I'm sorry.
It was
everybody.
It was funny though.
All right. So, starting off with number 1,
the San Francisco Shock
for both of us.
Yep. We're pretty similar right now.
Yeah, there's a few tweaks that each of us have here and there, but
it's in that jumbled up mess in the middle between 8 and about 14.
But I mean, the top 2 is pretty undisputed.
Yeah.
Right now, San Francisco's on top simply because they are the most recent winner of the head-to-head matchup between Vancouver and San Francisco in the inevitable stage playoffs. Stage playoffs matchup. And neither team has shown any sign of losing to anybody but each other.
Yeah. At least, recently, because San Francisco, it does have 3 losses.
They had a rough start. So they're technically in 3rd place overall. But yeah.
No one's going to deny that they're the best team right now.
For sure.
It's a lot of it was putting Rascal in.
Yeah. It was putting Rascal in and Violet.
Yeah, and just committing.
Right. It's been huge for this team, and we've spent endless amounts of time on this team. So let's just move on to the Titans at number 2.
Yep. Well, yeah, same thing.
Exactly. Exactly what we expected. The only
thing I would say about the Titans right now is I think as a complete roster on paper they're probably better than San Francisco.
Yeah.
But not by much.
You're right. And
they pretty much even out at almost every position.
Basically, right now, these teams are what the Cavs Warriors should have been before the Warriors cheated and got Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
F them, anyway.
Yeah,
Bitch City.
No kidding.
Not a big fan of Oakland or their teams.
Yeah.
Most of that's Broncos based, but I also watched you guys suffer enough here with the Warriors.
Yeah.
And the A's I could care less about.
Yeah, right. They're pretty irrelevant. Except for whatever reason, we always just... If our baseball team plays them, and oh god, don't get me started on our baseball team, but if we play them, we play horribly. Even if they're horrible, they crush us.
The Grand Canyon or whatever that stadium is still.
Oh god, yeah.
Anyway, worst baseball stadium in America. Fight me,
hands down.
That and Fenway, fight me on that too.
Yeah, I agree with
Rickety
that.
old dirt hole.
Fucking hate.
There's a lot of Boston Red Sox hate here anyway. I'm a Yankees fan and you're an Indians fan, and we just don't like them. It's the only thing we agree on in baseball, really.
Yeah, because I hate your team too, but...
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to number 3. We both have the NYXL. Yeah. They're still, of the rest of the teams, they are the team, basically. Yeah. But they still have not shown anything to... put them above
either
the Titans
one
of the Shock.
And we'll move on to 4, which is the Gladiators, who I wanted to put higher, but I just can't because they can't win a playoff game.
Right.
There's New York and then there's them.
Yeah, they are the Bengals of this league right now.
Yeah. and
make the playoffs every year.
And they look great.
Yeah.
All regular season. Mm-hmm. You turn the screws to them, though, and they're...
Yeah, Andy Dalton.
Yep.
Playoff Andy Dalton. Who's either hurt or sitting on the bench.
Or doing...
In the case of Fisher, basically. Which is what happened last year. But like, it's... this team is so frustrating because they can be so much better.
Yeah, they could. And I want them to be better. And, we were talking about DPay on Sunday. I mean, they're coached really well.
Right.
And I think that has a lot to do with where they are.
Yes.
They just need to learn how to finish in the big time.
Right. And I think that's really their biggest issue is just like...
To beat one of the 3 top teams or even like they throw in London or Dallas or somebody like that in a playoff situation. Okay, so that's a top 4. Let's keep moving.
Yeah. So at number 5, here's where we kind of have a few differences.
Yeah.
5, I have the Spitfire. You have the Fuel.
I have Dallas. I have faith in Dallas right now. I don't know. Maybe I'm going back to stage 1 last year.
Maybe.
But before stage 1 last year.
Right.
I don't know. But I think they just the more that these guys work together and the more they play, they're of the other teams like in that middle mess. I think they have the best goats of any team, which we're gonna still get.
Yeah.
Or 3-3 at this point, whatever you want to call it.
True.
I think they run it better than a lot of the other teams, and I have them above some teams, like London is off and on. Yeah. I mean, you can say that about Dallas, too. I just think that they're better than some people think, and I think that, especially with OGE, he's one of my favorite tanks in the league right now, and I just think that they're slowly but surely going to be up in that top 5. I have...
That's fair.
An unfair amount of faith in them. For
me, I feel like with the Spitfire, they really showed that the last stage that, at least in the regular part of the season, that they can play a 3-3, a really solid 3-3, especially when they get to have Gesture play Winston. I think that has made a huge difference for this team.
Yeah, their Winston coach is definitely by far their best run of the way they run 3-3.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of questions with this team, and I mean that's really the case of any of these teams from here on out. Some have harder questions to answer than others, but London, I mean I can't count them out until they are completely out. And look at when we discounted this team last year, they went on to make a championship run.
This is true.
So like, they just have that pedigree still for me, to be just a slight step above Fuel. So let's move on to number 6, which is where I have the Fuel.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they're in that right now. I would say that they're in the 5 to 8 range.
Yeah.
Somewhere in there. Like, I mean, I have them higher because I think they're a little bit better. I have it 6. I have Soul, which I have pretty high, but it's just when they are, it's like London with them. When they're like together and they're on their game, they're better than 90% of the teams. It's just, there's that 10% of the time that they just absolutely fail.
Yeah, like they look like a complete and utter dumpster fire. When they're at their worst, like they are
bad,
horrible. But when they're playing really well, they have the potential to beat just about anybody except maybe those top 2 teams.
Yeah, exactly. And I like the direction that they went in. They did what most people wouldn't do, and they sat down Fisher and Fleta and put in the guys that run this meta better.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to see more of that.
I think that's a really good sign for this team, is that they are truly starting to turn the page on how they're being coached and the lineups they're putting out. Because, I mean, just think back to last year, this time, when we had, you had Rouge Hong playing main tank.
I mean,
for no reason.
Yeah, granted, trying to help the team out, but
of all the was it really helping the team out?
Yeah, I mean, was he that much worse than Miro?
Right.
Or better? No.
Exactly. It and just like really questionable coaching decisions, especially when it would just be at like the times when they needed to win the most and they needed to just get some consistency. They're just like, oh, well, we had something work, so we better change it.
Yeah.
And you're just like, why? What are you doing? Like, so it seems like they've it seems like they've kind of cut back on that. And that's what gives me hope for this team, that they're finally starting to turn the page. It's definitely not enough to be an elite team, but I think they are definitely an upper tier team.
Yeah, I think so too. They're in the above that really jumbled mess.
Yeah.
That we have coming up here shortly.
and I'll say the same for the Fuel. Like they're just, because that's who I have ranked at 6. They're better. Like they're better than they were last year, and it's very clear that they just continually are making steps to be better every week.
Yeah.
Minus some like weird random times when they just look like a jumbled mess, but I think that can be just kind of attributed to outside factors as well. With all the traveling and
all that stuff. And sometimes you just are off. Yeah. Or you go in with a game plan and you get thrown and you're like, all right, this is really going to work against them, and it happens in other sports too. You
just can't regroup for whatever reason.
Yeah, and then you work so hard or so much on one thing that you are failing to try and figure out, and you're panicking, and it happens.
Yeah. All right, so let's move on to number 7. This is where I have Seoul.
Okay, I have the Spitfire down there. That playoff performance kind of didn't sour me on them. I thought they were back up in the top, like going to challenge New York and the Gladiators to be up in that little bit underneath Vancouver and San Francisco. It's like they fall asleep or something. I don't know what they do. It's like you watch them one match and they absolutely mash someone that you think is going to give them a good match, and you're like, okay, there's the Spitfire, and then you go into something with faith and you're like, okay, they're going to play well in the playoffs, and they absolutely fucking didn't show up at all.
Like they're going to flip that switch, and playoff mode is going to be there, and it just
didn't happen.
Yeah, I feel ya.
And I mean, that's what most of it is. I just want more consistent focus out of them.
Yes.
It's like they did it last year the same way. It was like towards the end of stage 2. Mm-hmm. Well, at the beginning of this year, it really was weird because everybody's learning 3-3 and playing and all that.
Right.
But it's about the same timeline. End of stage 2, they started doing weird shit. Then they got rid of all the dudes, and then they just played terrible in stage 3. Actually, they did that. They got rid of everybody at the end of stage 3, I think. But anyway, beside the point, it's just like they have this middle of the season sleeping time.
Yeah, where they're just they just are not focused, and you're just really not sure like what they're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, thank God they don't play baseball.
Yeah, no kidding.
They would start off hot and finish hot, but that middle of the year they would end up being like 500.
And then that would put them in a wild card spot instead of winning a division.
Yeah, which is where they're playing right now. But
yeah,
enough on London.
All right, so let's move on to number 8, because I don't have anything else to say about the Fuel or the Soul.
Yeah.
Number 8, we both have the Philadelphia Fusion.
Yeah. And this is but I have them up pretty high in my estimation. I have them higher than I probably should have put them. They're just so they're another inconsistent.
Yeah, they're a team that like when they really put it together, they're an unstoppable train wreck. Not train. Actually, no. You know what? They are. They're an unstoppable train wreck. That is exactly like when they are just going to
run over things and then also get run over.
Yeah, like they're gonna run over everything, including themselves, and like that is like the perfect summation of this team. Like they just when things are going right, like they just barrel through you, and you just can't do anything to stop it. But then there's other times where they do nothing but stop themselves.
Yeah, and then there's always the moment you're like, what are they doing?
Yeah.
You just won the last map. They didn't even get like a tick.
And then now you're running this weird comp, or you're just like you're just not even coordinating with that whatever you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It's real weird.
And I don't know. I don't want to bring up roster questions or anything like that. It's really hard with 3-3
Yeah, with how
they're not
loaded
the
this
best
team is.
3-3 team. They're built for 2-2-2
for sure.
I mean, a lot of the teams from last year are. I mean,
they're built for dive. They're built for just a straight up
random comps.
Yeah. Letting guys like EQO and Carpe actually play DPS.
Yeah, two of the best players in the league, and they're on Brig and Zarya.
Yeah.
And neither one of them are fantastic at it.
Right, like EQO has some moments with Brig, and Carpe
when we get
has
the
some
replay thing, we can really dive more into that, and I can't wait. Hopefully, it's on the update. It's Tuesday we're recording, so at some point.
Yeah, they're doing maintenance right now. I don't even think you can play anything at the moment, so.
Oh no.
Hopefully that means we're getting some kind of update like that.
Yeah, we're gonna nerf Diva again.
Right.
We're just going to take everything away from Diva, including the mech.
Yeah. She just
have the pistol.
Now Baby Diva.
Okay, you know what? She's still at an 80% pick rate.
Right. She's still got the boosters and the pistol.
Yeah. You have a 0.1 second.
She's got rocket boots now.
Yeah. She's got a 0.1 second defense matrix. That's enough to get a grab. Fuck it. We're still playing her. Plus her hitbox is smaller now.
Yeah.
Yes!
Tiniest tank in the game. Oh, God. All right. So let's move on to number 9. At 9, I have the Hangzhou Spark.
I have the Dragons.
Yeah. That's fair.
Like the way they played, and they're getting better and better with doing different stuff, but also their 3-3 is solid.
Yeah.
I think obviously they're getting used to playing with Gamsu, and Ding and Diem are insanely good. And I just think that they're poised to, in this stage, I think they could be, obviously in the playoffs again.
Yeah.
In the stage playoffs. And it's the last stage playoffs that they're going to have, because then it gets into the whole, the gauntlet thing, or however they're running it. But I just think that they're better and better, they get better and better every time I watch them. And they're beating teams that are better than them. It's just, you have to get over the logo and what happened last year.
Yeah, that's fair. See, for me, I have the Spark above them just because the run that they made, especially towards the end of Stage 2, I think that is some success that they can really build on. And they just really showed some tenacity. Like, even when they lost in the playoffs, they still, they fought tooth and nail to get every bit that they could. Sometimes it ended up not being enough, but I do think that really showed a lot of growth for them. And for them to finally put Crystal in, I think has been the big turning point for this team. And I think they're going to absolutely stick with that, and having more playtime with him and everybody together with this kind of, it seems like they really found their core guys that they're going to keep running. And I think as they build up with that, I think they're going to get a lot better.
Yeah, I have them a few lower, or a couple lower than you, but I think that they're in the same. I kind of put them in the same boat with the Dragons.
Yeah,
they run 3-3 solid, but they can make up some ground when they
throw out some of the cheese.
The cheese, or they can do a double sniper comp on control maps, or with a Hammond. And it's decent.
I think they both also can be very good Sombra Goats teams.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that kind of elevates them above some of the other teams.
And much like London, their Winston Goats with Gushue is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. So let's move on to number 10. This is where I had the Dragons, and I totally agree with everything you said. This team has just gotten so much better as time has gone on. The addition of Gamsu has been absolutely massive for this team.
Because I thought they would have been decent with Fearless.
Yeah.
But
Gamsu
decent
is just
in that 14 to 12, 15-ish kind of range. But I think they're a top 10 team with them, and maybe they could go higher.
I agree. I do think that they're right now. They're right on that cusp, and I think that they're only going to climb from here for me. I think Gamsu has just really elevated this team to be far more than anybody expected them.
Yeah.
Especially after last year. But even so, Yeah,
you just got to remove the past from your brain when you're talking about that. Much like with some of the other teams that even us, we have up in the top where from last year where we're kind of doing it's London. So,
right.
Or it's the Gladiators. So they got to, you know what I mean? It's like you have to do that the opposite way with the Dragons.
Yeah.
It's totally different. I mean, the other two teams have pretty much the same roster, but it's just a whole different scenario.
Yeah.
For my 10, I have a surprise one probably for some people. I have Atlanta. I just like the way they played last stage.
That's fair.
They played, they lost some games. Mm-hmm. But like I keep saying, when you have to switch guys in the lineup, you're going to lose 3 games. Yeah. Probably.
Right.
Until you figure out how they play. So they beat New York twice, which was fantastic. And, other people tried to do what they did to New York, and they couldn't do it.
No, they really couldn't.
And, they tried to do it before, and not after what they did, because New York played them consecutively, then did their normal playoff thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, I think Baby Bay is better than people are giving him credit for.
I think, it's been...
Is he the best Arya? Not
really, but he has integrated himself
he's effective
enough into the team that he's being far more effective than I think anybody anticipated.
Yeah. And I saw a couple of interviews with him, and he was saying last year, when he got on the bench, he just didn't play.
Yeah.
He got depressed and shit. I mean, and he just started playing more, and then San Francisco gave him a shot to go somewhere else, and it's actually helped him out. And I think, everyone talks about these career arc resurgence things, man. I think Baby basically, he's got to be in the redemption arc kind of thing.
Oh, absolutely.
But I think he's more solid than people give him credit for, and I love the other guys, like Massa. He's one of the best Lucios in the league, and I just think that they're ready to do some damage, and get back to where they were in stage 1. Sort of. I mean, the schedule is kind of tough, but we'll see.
Yeah. For sure.
All right.
So that's going to wrap it up for our top 10. We're going to do our 11 through 20 on the next episode. So keep an eye out for that. Don't forget to check us out on social media, Twitter, at Overwatch or at Overtakes _ OWL. And check us out on Twitch as well. That's where we do our Sunday night back cap. And we'll catch you guys on the next one.
Yeah, we'll catch you on the next one. Don't forget everything. If you guys want to link to any of our social media or anything like that, we'll have everything down below too in the description. So link on that. Follow us on whatever your social media of choice is, except maybe Facebook, because we are terrible with that.
And it's probably about to get unpublished.
Yeah,
I haven't updated it in a while.
We don't really know anyone on Facebook except for
I think we have 3 followers on Facebook.
And it's the other people are my family and shit. I really don't want to do it. Anyway, that's a whole other story. All right, guys, we'll catch you on the next one with 11 through 20.
Later, guys.